Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
RTnews.com. U.S. to act decisively if Russia deploys military to Cuba or Venezuela White House.
Right. Hey, Cuba was from Planet of the Apes. Cuba. Cuba. Yeah, I meant Cuba. Yeah. All right, hey, read on.
American authorities will act decisively if Russia deploys its military to Latin America.
Right, because they've seen that before with the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? Read on.
The White House said Thursday, following suggestions, Moscow could station troops in Venezuela or Cuba. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan called the idea bluster in the public commentary, adding that if Russia were to move in that direction, we would deal with it decisively.
Right, so America's showing what they ready. They ready to pop off.
Right.
Moscow, they sending threats. You understand? Let's go to the next article real quick. What is that? The Russia snap inspection? Hold on one second. I want to get through this before we go to the next caller. Read what you got. Hey, go ahead and answer for them. Just put them on hold real quick. All right, go ahead.
This is RTnews.com. Russia orders snap inspection of troops, testing combat readiness for a rapid deployment.
Right, so Russia's showing you they going through military drill to make sure that they ready for when it pops off at any time.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Troops are being asked to display their combat readiness in the far east of Russia, with snap military drills underway to test their mettle.
Read.
Footage from the Russian Ministry of Defense captured early scenes from the inspection, with armored vehicles in full operation and troops gearing up for combat training and live firing exercises.
There you go. So they preparing the troops. All right. Go to the next article.
What's crazy, Cap, is they're doing it openly so you can see them preparing. They ain't even hiding it no more. So they don't fear America like they used to fear America.
Right. They're showing their muscle.
Right.
Putin, you should have known Putin was coming with it. Just the way that Edom might be looking, man. He looked like he ready to set it off, man.
Right.
Go to the next article. Bro, it sound like he here.
Yeah, right.
You go to the next article.
This is Newsbreak.com. U.S. intelligence agencies point to potential Russian invasion of Ukraine within a month's time.
Hey, you remember the show we did maybe a month ago, talking about Russia was getting ready for all-out war in February 2022?
Right.
Yes, sir.
I forgot the name of that class, but we just went over this. Putin had the citizens, practicing for what's about to pop off. It said February 2022. Yes. Now, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
So can we say it's going to happen? Not necessarily, but Putin is up to something.
Yeah.
He understands that something is about to go down. You had something on that, officer?
Yeah, there's a change in the atmosphere. Like after the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, everybody was scared to try America the way they're trying them now.
Can y'all get the camera on the officer, please?
Yeah.
So they can see his face.
And give me that in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 16. because they're not scared of America no more. America's not a big bully no more. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 16.
Read.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee.
They don't look at you like, oh, I better not say this because America might get mad no more. They'll tell you straight up, we're preparing for you. If we're going to invade Ukraine, and you're not going to stop us because they're not scared of them no more. Read.
And consider thee saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
So, like, when America dropped the bomb in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, everybody was scared. They're asking, is this the man that made the earth tremble? They're not scared no more because they can make the earth tremble now. So that's what we're witnessing. The other nations are starting to step up against America.
And you know what else? You'll see, like I was saying earlier, the preparation that Cap is talking about, you see that was going on during World War II. When they see that, all that does, it boosts up the people ready for war. When you see them marching and chanting, doing all these preparation, that's wartime.
Hey, real quick, was the caller still on hold? All right, let's go with the caller real quick. Go ahead and pause the time. Hey, Shalom, caller, what's your question, your comment?
Yes, sir. I have both, actually. Just wanted to speak about us coming into, our people that are asleep right now, man. I'm a police officer, and I've been in the truth now about 3 years. And, I was lost out there also, and it was a brother that was an inmate that woke me up. Tried to put the brother on blast and clown him because he didn't want to do anything on the Sabbath day, which to me, I was a Christian. I thought the Sabbath was a Sunday. So here we are sitting in the pod talking to this brother, and he's spitting truth out over the mic. And man, I couldn't say anything. I was getting frustrated. I was getting mad. It was because the brother was hitting me with so much knowledge that I didn't have anything of. And right now I'm saying is that we have so many people, our brothers and sisters that are asleep, and me as a police officer, man, I have to sometimes arrest my brothers and sisters that's doing these things that the scripture says that we are that we're going to be doing, you know. So I use my influence, my position, the best I can to try to wake some of these brothers up. I may arrest one man, and I throw some scriptures at them on the way to the jail. Now I have a few of the brothers that request me to come in on the Sabbath day, so I get a lot of us together. I try to be circumspect on when I'm showing them some of the stuff in the truth, you know. So I started Deuteronomy 28, and Esau's around, so I don't want to draw a whole lot of light, you know, and them cut it off. And this awakening is coming true, man. I'm here in Alabama, and when I say that people are so asleep, Esau know who we are. I have this one Edomite, about 80 years old, man. He told me who we were. You know, he said his grandfather and their grandfather were slave owners. He said, man, he said, he don't lie. He said, I'm proud to be white. But he said, we could have catch hell. What do you mean by that? He was like the Bible prophecy. He said, you know anything about Deuteronomy 28? And it just kind of threw me off guard. I didn't know what to say because I'm at work. So, I turned off my body cam. We had a little conversation. It just blew my mind what he knew. And he grew up during, Jim Crow and things like that.
Right.
And our people, and he said, your people don't want to wake up. Y'all don't know who y'all are. And it just messed me up. And that was another validation, when me and that brother had that conversation.
Hey, all praises to the Most High for sharing that thing right there. But no, you 100% correct. Esau know exactly who we are. They know who they are too, and they know that time is almost up. Hey, before we get back to it, man. Do what you can, but definitely don't jeopardize your position. Right. God put you in that position for a reason. So make sure to use wisdom, and Lord's will, you'll continue to push this truth. All right. Nice speaking with you, my brother.
Shalom.
Hey, shalom. All right, let's get back to it. Let's get back to the article.
Russia's cyber war campaign against Ukraine exploded in December, a pattern that U.S. intelligence agencies believe could signal a ground invasion within a month's time. The next time frame was one of several details that White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki shared Friday about Russia's intentions toward Ukraine, a long time U.S.
Right, so we're seeing the same thing. We're seeing the same thing. You got Canada is going to join. Do me a favor, man. I wanna go to the book of I want to go to the book of 2nd Ezra 14. Let's go there real quick because, like I said, all of this ties into the doomsday clock. All right, make sure the time is on the topic box, man. 10:56 has been frozen there for a minute, so we don't really know how much time we got. All right, 2nd Ezra the 14th chapter. All right, and do me a favor, start at verse 10. Watch this.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 10.
Come on.
For the world hath lost its youth, and the time begins to wax old.
Right. So this is during the Persian captivity. This is what, 4th century BC. 4th century BC. All right. So it says that this is the Persian captivity. Do me a favor. IT's back there fiddling around. They ain't charged all the mics, so the reader can't read right now. You good, reader? You know I had to give IT a shout out. Come on now.
Right.
All right, read the scripture again. 2nd Ezra 14 and 10. Yeah. Read what you got.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 10.
Come on.
For the world hath lost its youth, and the times begin to wax old.
Right, so the world has lost its youth, and times begin to wax old. Like I was making the parallel. This is during the time of the Persian captivity, so even back then, the scripture said that the earth was starting to wax old. Come on.
For the world is divided into 12 parts.
Right, it's divided to how many?
12 parts.
This is going into the time, okay? It says the world is divided into 12 parts. How in the world would Esau know how far we are from the 12th part? How would they know that? That 12th part going into what, that noonday? That 12th part is going into that midnight.
Right.
So how in the world would they know if they 100 seconds? How would they know? Because they wiser than Daniel. Watch this. I'm coming right back. Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 1. So y'all can really understand where they're getting their knowledge, where they're getting their technology, where they're getting their this information from. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 1. Watch this.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4 and verse 1.
Come on.
So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun.
Think about today. Who is oppressing? Who is the one in the seat or I'm sorry. Who's the one in power to oppress? It'll be the so-called white man, the European nations, America, all of them. All right, so it says, consider all of the oppression that are done under the sun. Continue.
And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed.
Right, we are the ones dropping the tears because we're the ones catching hell. We are the ones who oppress. Who's that? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Israelites today. Come on.
And they had no comforter.
And we had no comforter because what? When we sinned against God, God walked away from us. He turned his back on us so we could get our act together. But he's going to choose Israel in the end. Read on.
And on the side of their oppressors.
It says on the side of our oppressors, the so-called white man, read.
There was power.
There was what?
Power.
It says there was power. Where did power come from? Give me Micah 2 and 1. Where does their power come from? Let's find out. Micah chapter 2 and verse 1.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Come on.
Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
Right, it's in the power of the hand, because now, like I say in Job 9 and 24, that the earth was given into their hands. Now, who's ruling? The prince of the power of the air. It's talking about Satan. It's talking about Satan gave them their power. How you think they, was it Oppenheimer had the technology to come up with the Manhattan Project to drop the atomic bomb? Right. Then they had the hydrogen bomb. Understand that their power is coming from Satan himself. All right, go back to 2nd Ezra 14. I want to show you something. Watch this.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 12.
Watch this.
And there remaineth that which is after, the half of the 10th part.
Do me a favor, read verse 11 again.
Verse 11. For the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10 parts of it are gone already.
So it says, out of the 12 parts at this time, it says that 10 parts have already passed. Read.
And half of a 10th part.
And it says half of a 10th part. So 10, 30. All right, 10 and a half out of 12 have already passed during the time of Ezra. Read.
And there remaineth that which is after the half of the 10th part.
So during the time of Ezra, you had 1.5 left all the way up until present day. So brothers and sisters, we read earlier in the show, 2 Peter's, it says that one day is like 1,000 years to the Most High. So how do we really know how close we are? Let's go to Matthew chapter 20. Watch this. Matthew, the 20th chapter. Let me get there with you. Hey, our neighbors is getting crunk over there, ain't they?
Right.
Sheesh. I ain't never heard them play no music over there until we go live. Matthew chapter 20.
Look at this.
And
Out of pocket for that shit.
okay, IT. We do appreciate you.
Right.
Start at verse 2. We're gonna read through this. Start at verse 1. Watch this.
The book of Matthew, chapter 20 and verse 1.
I want to make a point. Watch this.
For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour, and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard.
Right. So the vineyard is what? The vineyard is the house of Israel when you read Isaiah chapter 5, verse 7. So this right here in this context is talking about the nation of Israel. All right, read on.
And whatsoever is right, I will give you. And they went their way. Again he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle, and said unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle?
It says, why stand ye here all the day idle? So I'm going to put it in perspective. I know we got about 4 minutes for the next transition. So what do you see? You see Judah, the southern kingdom, primarily on the forefront, right? And a lot of times you hear bishops say it. A lot of times you hear, it's time for northern kingdom to go out. It's time for them to get their act together, because Judah's always the one sticking up for the northern kingdom. You understand? Judah's always out in the forefront teaching the people. Right. But when it comes to the northern kingdom, you really don't see it as much. All right, watch this. Read on.
They say unto him, Because no man hath hired us. He saith unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall you receive.
Right, and this goes into what? Christ, he was sent for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. What is he showing in this parable? That is not just for the southern kingdom, he's for the northern kingdom as well. They were always predestinated to come back into the fold. Read.
So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the laborers, and give them their hire.
Come on.
Beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny.
It says, so even the ones that were standing idle, who came late, which is the northern kingdom, at the 11th hour, they still received what? They still received a reward, just like the southern kingdom that was already working. Read.
But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more.
Right, that's the southern kingdom. It's like, hold on, wait a second, man. They coming in late. How is they receiving the same pay as us? Come on.
And they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house.
Read.
Saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us.
Wait a second. He says these last has wrought, but what?
But 1 hour.
But 1 hour. What did Ezra say? Ezra said we had 1.5 left, right? Remember, you have to understand. Give me Galatians chapter 2. I want to show you something real quick. It says we have but 1 hour. They only work for 1 hour. Galatians chapter 2. And I'll make this real quick. I believe it's verse 6.
The book of Galatians chapter 2 and verse 6.
No, it's verse 8. Read that.
Verse 8. For he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me toward the Gentiles.
Right, who's speaking right here? This is Paul speaking. So he's saying Peter, the chief apostle, he was mighty when it came to the circumcision, the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But Paul's ministry was to who? His ministry was to the Gentiles. All right, those who came in later. So understanding what? That 11th hour already began in the Acts of the Apostles. So when it comes to us thinking that the 11th hour is just right now, the 11th hour has already began as soon as Christ left. Right. When you read Acts, the 1st chapter.
Right.
So when it comes down to where we at in the whole grand scheme of things, man, we are closer than you can ever believe. Romans 13 and 11. Read that real quick. And we see all of these things that's taking place in the earth. You understand? We see the moves that these countries and these nations are making, and we better make sure that our spirits is right in these last days.
Right.
Read what you got.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Right now is the time to awake out of sleep. Why?
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
Right, because we about to get up out of here if we do what we're supposed to do. Otherwise, we're going to go down with America. Right. Last script for this topic, and then we'll go to a quick break. Give me 2nd Ezra 4, and I want verse 50. All right, 2nd Ezra chapter 4, and I want verse 50. All right, watch this.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 4 and verse 50.
Come on.
Then said he unto me, consider with thyself, as the rain is more than the drops, and as the fire is greater than the smoke, but the drops and the smoke remain behind. So the quantity which is past did more exceed.
Right, so what is he saying right here? He say the rain is more than the drops, and then it said the smoke is more than the, what did it say? Oh, the fire is greater than the smoke. All right, so it's saying what? Those who have already passed, the majority have been sealed already.
Right.
Then what's to come? Okay, remember, this is Ezra during the 4th century BC. So he said majority at his time when there was an hour and a half left. You understand? It said the majority was already sealed. So brothers and sisters, we got to understand that we got to get our acts together. Right. All right, read those last verses, 51 and 52.
Then I prayed and said, may I live, thinkest thou, until that time? Or what shall happen in those days? He answered me and said, as for the tokens whereof thou askest me, I may tell thee of them in part. But as touching thy life, I am not sent to shew thee, for I do not know it.
So we got to make sure we make our calling and election sure. All right?
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us a spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road. Purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.